Nolan, you've been covering what's happening in the Ukraine for almost 2 years now. What is it that they should know that they don't know about this war?
I think the most fundamental truth that I've learned from this war is that it's a real war, and it's not over yet. I was a pilot in Iraq and Afghanistan for the Air Force, and I had never seen the kind of fighting that I saw in Ukraine. Tank battles, trench warfare, heavy artillery attacks. And that's going on in Europe in 2015. And as a journalist, it feels like it's a secret. And that's scary.
And it feels like that because you know this is a war that's not being covered in most media outlets?
I think the intensity of the fighting is not being accurately told. That story is not being told to people back in America. Because of that, the media tends to downplay the seriousness of what's at stake there.
Well, when people look at what's happening in Afghanistan, or they look at what's happening in Syria and the fight against ISIS, how different is what's happening in Ukraine between those battlefields?
I think the scariest part of Ukraine is the potential for that war to spill over into a major war in Europe. And I think that with Russia being more aggressive in the region, it takes one mistake in a NATO country like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania for NATO to declare Article 5 on Russia. And NATO has declared that any meddling in those Baltic countries by Russia would prompt Article 5. And that would mean war between NATO and Russia. And that's the inconceivable that could happen. And I think people should take that seriously.
What do the Ukrainians really see as the main problem here? I mean, is Russia just an aggressor? Are they truly fearful that Putin wants to come and take their whole country? What are they fighting for?
They consider the war to be a Russian invasion. Sometimes the media paints it as a pure separatist movement within eastern Ukraine. But the separatist movement was fueled by Russian FSB operatives and Spetsnaz special forces. So this is a Russian situation. They created this problem. And because of that, the Ukrainian soldiers consider the war to be an invasion of their sovereign territory. And they feel like they are fighting for their country's future.
Now, Russia has said they are not involved here, that they're not giving any ammunition, they're not putting soldiers in the battle. You've been on the front lines. What have you seen?
Well, you never know the exact nationality of the person shooting at you. They don't wear a name tag that says, "I am a Russian soldier." But the type of warfare I saw out there, I saw a combined drone with tank ops, where a drone would orbit overhead and the tanks would shoot where the drones were orbiting. That's pretty sophisticated stuff. At night you have drones, the combined Russian separatists are using cell phone signals to target their artillery. That's not the type of warfare or the type of fighting that a coal miner or a tractor driver who spontaneously decides to become a separatist is capable of achieving. And to me, that is the most striking evidence that Russia has to be involved.
You've talked to many Ukrainians there, both in the war, but also just citizens living in the country. What's their view of America?
They love America. And it's, as an American veteran, to go and to see your country held in such high esteem abroad is moving. I had an opportunity to go on an army convoy through the Baltics this year, and for 1,100 miles you saw people waving American flags, fathers with children on their shoulders. And they look to us for hope, for protection from what they see as Russian aggression. And I think it's a real opportunity for our country to take advantage of this pro-American sentiment that's latent in these post-Soviet countries. And they're looking to us for help.